Hello, Starborns! Welcome to Space Skyrim! We're doing another spoilercast. It is time for the spoilercast for the UC Vanguard and the Freestar Collective. My name is Potato, a.k.a. Lewis, and I'm with my good friend, Alice. How are you doing, Alice?
Hi there! My pronouns are she, they, and yep, we're going to be touching on the major quest lines, at least the ones that you can actually get achievements from. Because I think there's another faction which is known as Epside Strikers or something like that, but I think it's just like pretty much no point. I mean, there's certainly like other quest lines in like the Starfield, but we'll be focusing on UC Vanguard and Freestar Rangers this week. And next week, we'll be talking about Crimson Fleet and Ryujin Industries. So yeah, speaking of which, I've done the Crimson Fleet about last night, so got it done. Love the story. Yeah. Well, I think the missions are like speaks louder than the story itself. But before that, I've done the UC Vanguard, and I feel like, yeah, the story is really fantastic. But yeah, this is all done as part of a new game plus. Got rid of all the baggage and haven't really encountered a lot of glitches, apart from the few crashes and freezes, and that's not so great. But I've managed to collect so much money that I've managed to build myself a new ship, which is a C-class, and does much better than what I was given on the new game plus. But yeah, it's kind of cool. Got lots of money for doing quest lines. It's a pity that the missions I've done with it just doesn't give as much experience as I hope. And it just seems like you have to kill enemies, you have to craft, or do something to reach level 100, for instance. And I just feel you have to grind to get those. Like, if Bethesda were to get rid of any of these and trying to do this by doing missions and everything, why don't just fix the amount of experience you get from completing missions? Not like try to waste days of exploring and get little bits of XP every time. And I feel this is more of a balance issue. Do you agree?
I agree. The leveling it can be a bit of a pain, to be honest. So you're like level 208, is it? Yeah. I'm level 39 and I've completed the story. We've basically been playing it about the same amount of time, but I've just been doing missions and you've been doing other things which gave you extra XP, so that explains how much easier it is to do XP from grinding, like farming and stuff. So it's quite funny to compare us to stats wise.
The methods of getting money, like if you explore, you don't get much money unless you sell to vendors, which they don't give a lot of money, and you can't get experience unless you do a lot of sandboxing, which means ignoring the missions. And I think it's just those kind of things that people end up going to exploit to get more money and, of course, getting more experience because they feel that normal circumstances, they can't actually level up or get lots of money in such a normal ways. And it kind of sucks, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, money's not really an issue. It's the XP is the biggest issue, really. It's the XP.
Oh, yeah.
It takes forever. But, that being said, we're going to talk about the faction storyline, so we're not going to go into massive spoilers with the whole thing, but yeah, this week so you just said you just finished the Crimson Fleet today. I finished the Freestar Collective last night and I completed UC Vanguard this morning. The only problem I got is I had to go to an old save file to finish the Freestar Collective because I had a glitch in the Red Mile. Where the character just glitched out and I couldn't talk to her and I couldn't proceed the story. So I have two different save files. So I've decided I'm going to continue on with the save file that I finished the Freestar Collective with, but that means I'm going to have to redo the last 4 or 5 missions of the UC, but I've already beaten it, but I'll have to do it again. But there you go. It's one of those things. It's annoying, but that's like the first game-breaking glitch I've had in the entire run I played. But hopefully I can get around it. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, it's interesting because I think when you said it to me, it's just like, oh yeah, I encountered this glitch with the Red Mile, so I decided to pop out to do more UC Vanguard, and then I came back, glitch is still there, and the best thing to deal with is that if you encounter such a problem with it, well, reload back to the mission start and try again.
Yeah.
So I think at least it's just a bit of a learning process to know with Bethesda games that you should always save before you start each and every mission if it means to get achievements from it. Otherwise, you're just going to end up problems where you end up wasting a lot of time because you encountered a bug and you can't continue.
Yeah, so I had lots. I do save constantly in this game, but I thought that bit of that glitch was going to be fixed somehow. I don't know why. I just basically I was like, I'll come back to it later and it'll be fine, and it never was. So basically, I lost 2 days worth of progress, basically, which is frustrating.
Oof.
So I finished. Yeah, so I was like, oh, I've got one mission left to do in the UC, so I'll do that. But then I'm going to go to my old save file and finish the Freestar Collective before that mission glitch I hit. So yeah, so I got two save files, one with the finished UC, one with the finished Freestar, but neither of them have them both at the same time, which is annoying. But I'll try and fix that. As I said, I'm going to keep my when we get talking to the spoilers, I can explain more in there. But I think I'm going to keep the same file where I beat the Freestar Collective and it's over the one I completed the UC, because I feel like the rewards for finishing the UC, the Freestar is much better than the rewards you get for the UC, personally. But we'll discuss in further details. Is there anything else you want to discuss before we hit the spoilers?
Well, not really. Apart that, be aware that it's not just of the Freestar Rangers that you have the bugs. You mentioned about that is not as common as what I heard about the Crimson Fleet mission bugs. There's a couple of game-breaking bugs during the quest line, and there's also one hugely serious bug that's in Ryujin Industries, and it's actually being more widely known. So I think these are the kind of things that you really should look out for than the Redmire one, because when I did the Freestar Rangers, I don't seem to have encountered any bugs as far as I remember, touchwood, but then the fact that you just found it and like, oh, that's interesting. And it just pretty much tells that game-breaking glitches can happen when you least expect it. So that's...
Fortunately, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So just be careful. And if you hit a game-breaking glitch, don't be like me and just do other missions and come back to it, because it probably won't get fixed. So I recommend reloading your save file before the glitch happened. And save yourself a lot of heartache and a lot of time and effort. That being said, so we're going to do essentially two spoiler casts in one here. We're going to talk about, which one are we going to talk about first, Freestar or UC? What would you prefer?
Well, the cream of the crop, UC Vanguard, Fighters Guild of Starfield, and I think could well be the Brotherhood of Steel too, isn't it? Because I think there's certainly parallels between the quest line with another quest line that involves big mutant beasts from Fallout, but whatever.
They're the Space Navy. In the Space Navy. We're going to talk about that in a bit, but also I just wanted to mention there's going to be timestamps on the YouTube video if you're listening to it on YouTube, and if you have only beaten one of these two quest lines, you can just skip to the other one or vice versa, because obviously... So basically, if you haven't finished the Freestar Collective, we won't talk about the Freestar Collective until we get to that part of the podcast. And if you haven't finished the UC part of the podcast, skip over to the Freestar section in a minute when we tell you, I guess. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I'm trying to explain that to people. So, yeah. So it's essentially two spoiler casts for two different stories. Ooh. And then next week we've got the other two, which we already said. So look forward to that, hopefully. So we're going to start off with the UC Vanguard. Is that correct?
Yes.
So spoilers for the UC Vanguard storyline. If you're here for the Freestar Collective storyline, please skip ahead. Use the timestamps in the bar below. So where do we want to start with this? So the UC Vanguard is a lot like Alien, right? I mean, that's kind of the whole... You can tell that's what this is being inspired by, the film Alien or Aliens. I mean, they're called xenomorphs in this, and like what are they called in Alien? Similar name.
Well, in Aliens, it's definitely xenomorphs.
Xenomorphs, yeah.
But in Starfield, it's like it's not. It's terramorphs.
Terramorphs, that's it. Yeah. So
if you want to get reminded this, then look no elsewhere than one coffee shop in New Atlantis, and it's called Terra Brew.
Which sounds like terrible, which is hilarious. But yeah, so obviously the whole big story of this one, the UC storyline, is trying to stop an outbreak of these aliens which are essentially killing everyone, and they're like space, they're like what's it called, super weapons, I guess, or like war weapons. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It also makes
basically, it's just like, to me, it feels more like Starship Troopers, but I suppose you may not make that huge comparison because there's not a lot of aliens to blow up. But in this one, it's basically to do with like some kind of horror thing, and it just kind of reminds me of those horror movies that involves big mutant aliens with some like grotesque armor plating on it. And
I mean,
I think it's kind of a bit familiar with like Alien Covenant or Prometheus or some sort, but I don't know.
I'd say Alien, Prometheus, Starship Troopers. This is a good example. I mean, even kind of like The Thing a little bit, as you kind of get that kind of vibes a little bit as well.
Oh,
like,
that's a good one.
The Ice Planet. Yeah, it's I think it's really cool storyline. If you're into that type of horror stuff, it's pretty cool. Essentially the xenomorphs or the terramorphs, not xenomorphs, wrong franchise. They UC Vanguard use them as weapons to kill the enemies, and then they've been outlawed, which is fair enough. We're like, of course they should be outlaws. Also makes me think that they keep talking about mechs, and there's a mech graveyard, and mechs are outlawed and stuff. So this makes me think that probably the DLC is going to have something to do with mechs.
Oh, or at least it's
going to be something to do with mechs at a later date, because they keep teasing mech stuff. So I'm assuming there's got to be something to do with mechs at a later point. I hope so anyway, because it's much better than just jetpacking everywhere.
Yeah, exactly, because you were saying about like vehicles not being available on planets. Well, I think it was other videos. So it's like, let's say vehicles that you just have to run around and use drugs to get through because you use amps to get extra movement speed. Yeah.
All the drugs.
But there's definitely references to mechs, especially with mechs falling down, especially in the UC Vanguard storyline. And there's definitely like hints of it, but you can't even like control any of it, and you can't even see them in New Atlantis. And it's probably because of this colony war and relying on those kind of things, which then got like really toned down. And this just leads to, I'm not going to be dealing with it on a mission by mission basis like last time, but if you said, it's very easy to join the UC Vanguard. You just walk up, speak to someone at the reception, and then you just be taken through the museum on the basement, where you just go through and you learn a whole lot about history, where like when there's people who left Earth, there was a thing called the scattering or some sort, and then there's a whole thing about colony wars, where Freestar Collective was formed and they went into the war with UC United Colonies, and they just go into wars, and they rely on biological warfare and even like mechs. And then you just have this like one of the best parts of the game is the ship simulator, where you go in, blow up ships, go for perks, but the whole point of it is to take a test to see how well you do in dogfighting, and then you just get accepted there. So I think it's just as easy as like trying to pass an interview in like Ryujin Industries.
The interview in Ryujin Industries is really easy, but we're not going to get into that. That's another spoilercast for next week. But I was going to mention as well, this is, if you're a lore buff, if you really love your video game lore, this is the story to start with, because it gives you all the backstory of the Starfield universe, the wars, the Freestar Collective, the UC, the what they called the snake people who like the space gods.
Faerun, is it?
Faerun, that's it. They tell you about the Faerun, tell you about the Colony War, what terramorphs are, why they were banned, and what like mechs were banned as well. It gives you it's literally a museum, and you go through exhibit by exhibit. They explain the backstory of Starfield. So if you're a lore buff, this is definitely the one to go for sure. This is like the most lore intensive side quest for sure, I think. And then, there's the ship simulator is also a lot of fun. As I was saying in the one of the previous videos, you can get up in the ship and hack the computer and actually change it so it's easier, and have like a secondary spaceship to help you and stuff. So that also makes it even more fun. So you can like change the parameters and stuff. It's like a game within a game. I love it. But yeah, UC Vanguard. So you sign up for the UC Vanguard, and they go, if you join the UC Vanguard, you can become a citizen of New Atlantis, and it'll only take you 5 years. And I was like, wow, that's great. Thanks. I wonder if you like didn't do any other missions, you stayed at that point, and you skipped 5 years in the game if you would actually just become a citizen. Because you could do day, it would take you forever, but just like go to Venus and just chill for there forever for 5 years. I wonder if you would become a citizen.
Yes.
Probably not.
Yeah. But anyway, so once you go through that, you don't get the achievement straight away, I think. Well, actually, you get the achievement once you joined up. What you could do is that you would go through, I think you don't have to go into the mission where you deal with a colony. There's like one down, and you're with this like very special character, which is like Hadrian, and it's like she's like trying to try to get rid of a terrormorph that killed all the people there, and then you just sort this out. That's the furthest I got in the first playthrough, and then the second playthrough continued from there. Yeah. And I thought that she was just a ordinary character, because I think many of the quest lines is that you deal with one-off characters and that's it. But as it turns out, she's actually the most important character of this whole quest line. Yeah. Top 2 or 3 at least. She's definitely one of the most important characters. So this is the mission where it literally is like Alien. You have a beeping sensor that goes off while you're running around, and you can just like, the alien's getting close. Beep, 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 like that. You're just going to run away from the beeping sensor and try and get the terrormorph to get caught by turrets and stuff. And it's a fun mission. It's a really fun mission. It's like for the second or first mission, I think that's pretty cool. The way to get you into it. And then, you meet up with Hadrian. Did you say her name was Hadrian? I can't remember her name now. Hadrian. I think it's just Hadrian, though. But so throughout the story is that you go to Mars. And I like this quest. It's one of the tender parts of a quest line, because it just involves, like, you go into Mars and you actually get to do things. But I think it's a bit... Yeah, it's a bit multifaceted, because it involves talking to the trade authority. It's just like, oh, you have those different ways in which you can sort out one guy's debt and then sort everything out. But I think it all points to like going in and just kill the spacers. But then eventually you go into the Red Devil's HQ, where you meet up with the scientists and tell them that terrormorphs are coming back. And what follows is that, it's just more action there. But yes.
I was going to ask, because you said about the debt thing. What did you do? Because I snuck into the back room, changed the computer terminal, and changed his debt to like 50 quid, and then he just paid it off. Or did you do it differently? Because I did that. I like snuck in and changed his amount of money that he owed.
Well, actually, I have to. I actually have to like go in and kill all the spaces so I can sort out the debts there, and then. And sort it out. Did you find the spacers before you meet up with the scientist there? Which I think is...
Yeah, you still have to face the spacers no matter what, I think. But I managed to just get his debt down without doing any of that. And then I still have to go face the spacers, which is like, oh, okay. Never mind. You got to go into a spacers place to find the head scientist, right? Who's gone missing. That's not the mission I'm thinking of. Yeah, he seems cool. He seems like a nice guy.
Yeah. Well, once you do all that, I think there was a midpoint, and that's even before you start to get a second achievement, which is Eyewitness. It's like you come in, try to report to the cabinet, and as usual, they're skeptical. But this is where it gets really interesting, because New Atlantis is attacked by terrormorphs. You go down and you realize people have been hypnotized. Watch out for the weapon there. And that's when it teaches you about like this electromagnetic EM weapons where you just pick it up and it shoots ammo that only stuns people, and you have to do this. Sometimes it doesn't drop, and that's a glitch. But if you find one on the floor, you can grab it and then you just shoot people with it. But that's it.
I looked at that bit.
Sorry?
That little bit of the mission annoyed me because I didn't realise that's what I had to do the first time, and I was just shooting them normally, and it's like, you need to use the special weapons. I'm like, oh, sorry, my bad. My bad, I didn't realise. Also, I wanted to mention, well, it's going to be another thing that I bring up at a later point, but, well, they explain it later on, which is great. But when I first played this, it's like, oh, the Terramorphs are here. That's perfect timing. That's convenient. They do explain it at a later point that actually makes sense, but I just thought it was funny that you're in the middle of a meeting, like, no, you won't get Terramorph information, then 2 seconds later, oh, we're under attack by Terramorphs. But it actually makes sense plot-wise, and we'll get to that when we get to the later part of the story. But at the time, I was like, well, that's convenient. Like, that's why I hate Deus Ex Machina.
Is that like Deus Ex Machina, yeah.
Where it's just something just happens just for the sake, just to move the plot forward, and that's what it felt like at the time. But in hindsight, it actually is pretty clever. So we'll discuss that when we get there.
Well, yeah. I do like the Deus Ex Human Revolution more because, like, the biggest gimmick is, which I thought is really amazing in stealth games, is that you find fans and it just gives you shortcuts for the entire room. In Starfield, they made this mechanic so obvious. It's just like, look, there's a big vent on the wall. Just access it and go through it. But I think there was a lot of it in the Crimson Fleet, and that's something we talked about next week. But it's still stupidly silly.
But obviously, I was referring to the term, was it Deus Ex Machina, which is like a storytelling term that means that like God's intervention or something, I think it means. I can't remember exactly what it means. But it just essentially means the plot won't progress until something random happens, and it just happens to happen at the exact time that you're there. You know what I mean? Like that. It's like it just happens that, like, it's like something super coincidental happens, and like that would never happen in real life. That's what I felt like. It's like, we'll never give you the keys to the Terramorph information. 2 seconds later, oh, we're going to interpret Terramorphs. It's like, oh, okay, convenient, very convenient. But it does explain it. They do explain it, which is good. We will get into that though.
But I think it's just this point that makes it more exciting than like the Constellation main storyline, because it's just like, oh, let's go grab artifacts and deal with some like random people you don't really care about anymore. Whereas this one, you've basically been dealing with bosses like Terramorphs, for instance, and there's even like an attack on the New Atlantis, and I feel that those kind of things that just makes it more exciting in this whole storyline, and I think that's really good.
It did make me feel like this was like suddenly, for those couple of missions where you had to fight Terramorphs, they did feel to me almost like Borderlands. Like it was like, oh, we're doing a fun shooter with like with a spongy boss, and you just got your co-op friends trying to help you out.
Yes.
Like that's what it kind of felt like. It felt like I was playing a looter shooter instead of playing a RPG, but it still worked, still fun. That's how I felt. So obviously, so they go, oh, the Terramorphs have attacked. We need to sort the Terramorphs out. And it's like, yeah, we told you so. Haha, you suck. And like, okay, here's the keys to. Well, you need to go speak to the other two factions. Is that correct? If I remember, because I already did this the other day, so if I remember now,
yeah,
you have to go speak to the other two factions to get the key, which is just like
the Freestar Collective, which is a bit of a pain because I have to come in and like. I think it's like the Devils You Know. Is it? I don't know. It's just like you come in.
Yeah.
I think you just come in and you just talk with those people. The lady at the Freestar Collective is just a bit of a pain. I had to persuade her and save Scum because I had to make the decisions there. I did use the item to boost my persuasion and I got it through. But because I unlocked the bribery perk, there's actually 2 options where you can actually pay her off and to sway her opinion. Yeah, that's right. If you like get a bribery perk, you may get like dialogue options where you can buy people into like accepting your opinion. And these options appeared for me. And like, well, I don't want to pay her money. I'll just like choose the kind of dialogues there. And yeah, it was all sorted out. But the next one, I think it's a Faerun or some sort.
The House Faerun, yeah. So that you go into the abandoned So they have an abandoned place for the House Varun in New Atlantis, and it's overgrown with plants. I thought so. Later on in the story, you find out something about these special plants. I thought they were going to reference the House Varun because there was a special plant growing in the House Varun place. I thought that was going to be connected, but it wasn't apparently. So it was just a coincidence. But yeah. What was it called? Like, I can't remember what it's called now.
I just found out that the mission we're talking about, this is actually called Friends Like These, not the Devils You Know, because that's when you met over V Victus. But that mission is like Freestar Collective try to convince someone and even pay them money to take your opinion.
Yeah.
Then you went in, turns out it's being overgrown by a tree and the robots are attacking you, and they're like, what the heck is going on? And it turns out that someone's like kept in the basement and tried to relax and realized, this place has got problems. That's okay. I'll just like give you some permission to use archives. And yeah, that's it. Then I have to walk all the way back, and any robots I missed, I have to like deal with them. But then I could just pop into the computer and convince them.
Yeah, I turned all the computers, all the robots to be my allies. That's what I usually do with those type of things. But yeah, that's what I was trying to say. So they have the tree overgrowing in the House Varun, and then later on in the story, they talk about this Leviathan plant or whatever.
Yes,
I thought it was the same thing, and I thought that was going to tie together somehow. I was like, oh, it's the plant from the House Varun that's been doing this, and it's like, oh no, just another plant, or at least it's not connected to the story anyway. So it's like, oh, okay. I misread this. I thought it was a different way they were going to go with the story, but I guess not. So yeah, then we I can't even remember where we go from there. Then we get the access to the vault. We go in the vault, get the information, and it's like, yep, Terramorphs are bad. It's like, yeah, we kind of knew that.
And then it turns out that the next mission is that you go in and you discover that V Victus is in there, and turns out to be a war general who's actually alive. And he was supposed to be executed, but it turns out to be a cover story because he's too good to be killed off. So what happened is that you had to go on the mission, and apparently you have to find someone to get rid of a scientist, and then you come back to V Victus to say, oh, he's dead, and here's some more evidence towards this whole aliens thing, and like, yep, that's all sorted out. But
so we skipped over some really important stuff here. So Hadrian, that's the girl character we spoke to about earlier, who you speak to. You find out before this that she is related to V Victus. She is a clone, sort of.
Yeah, the clone of him, who happens to be his daughter.
And they set the United Colonies to make peace with the Freestar Collective, said they killed off V Victus, this war criminal, but in fact they've been keeping him alive in the basement of their facility, which is really weird. And then he wants you to kill a scientist to help him get some help him. He says he has some information for you, but he will only give it to you if you kill this scientist.
Also, the prison in this basement is not like a prison because it's actually a house underneath.
It's lovely. I would love to have lived in that house. It looks pretty. We head down this scientist. It's like a long mission where you got to like find information to get to him and all that. You finally get to him, and then you're trying to break into his ship to kill him, but he kills himself.
Well, that's why I just blew him up, because it's no point. You just have to get rid of a scientist.
Oh, see, I did. I went into his ship. I went into the ship. I tried to like take it over, and he was like, the door was locked, and he just coughed and then died. I thought all I could do was coughing behind the door. Then I was like, I'm just going to loot the place while I wait for him to open the door. Next thing I know, the door opens and he's dead. So I was like, oh, okay. So he must have just died of something. And then I stole his name tag. I don't know if you... So did you get the name tag from blowing up the ship? Because that's a bit random.
Yeah, you can still get evidence for it and prove that, he's killed, hilarious. So it's all done. Now, moving on, I think it just goes into like war relics, and I think it's like trying to get over to like trying to rescue Kaiser. And to be honest, they're quite a great character there, but I think it's a bit of a fetch quests all in one, where you just
Very
meet up with this
fetch
guy, says about the robot, and you had to persuade him, and then I went over to Kaiser. It turns out, oh, there's heat leeches on it. Get rid of it. Oh, you had to get the battery, and then it's like you either have to pay for the battery or you build your own. And now it's just like going into circles to get all the materials, build it, help Kaiser, and then turns up. My mission is to kill people and send and the terrible.
So Kaiser's a robot, by the way. If people didn't catch that, because we kind of glazed over that a little bit. So yeah, we find Kaiser. He's a robot, and he goes, and quoting you, I want to kill people. Toot, toot. Beep beep. Time to die. He looks just like our robot. I forgot his name now. Vasco. He looks like Vasco, but red. He's like a red Vasco.
And a halo.
He has a halo on his head. So yeah, he's a cool guy, a cool robot guy, and he's he wants to make sure that you kill off a high level Terramorph or alien. It's not. I don't think it's a Terramorph. I think it's just an alien in general. And then he'll come back with you. I think
And then the biggest mission is that, and this is where I love this mission, my favorite of this quest line, because you fly over to Londinium, and that's when it's been run down by Terramorphs, and then as you come in, so it's like, oh, you need to buy some stuff, but they do that because eventually when you go through, and if you're paying attention to side objectives, you get loads of loot, you get loads of ammo and health packs, but you eventually get super powerful armor, which I'm still wearing for the second playthrough, New Game Plus, and it also got some legendary and epic weapons there too. And I thought, wow, this is brilliant. I even got a sick machine gun, so I used to kill Terramorphs, and then eventually at the end you got this massive Terramorph. But I think that's all fun compared to this huge revelation, and it's something to do with a plant. What's that?
I was going to mention that, but before we get to that, I just wanted to also ask you. So when you met Victus downstairs, and he's like, "I'm Victus. I'm the big bad guy. Ha ha ha!" and all this stuff. Don't tell anyone I'm here. Did you tell everyone that he's there? Because I did.
I did.
I just went, he's in the basement. He's still alive. He's like, good joke. I'm like, no, I'm being serious. He's alive. Okay, so I wanted to know if you did it differently to me, because I'm curious what would have happened if you didn't tell anyone, if you would have had to confess it at some point. But I just told everyone. I was just like, nah, I'm not keeping that a secret. This is dumb. I thought I'd bring that up. So yeah, we end up going into the Terraform facility, and we find, what's it called? Labyrinth? Is it labyrinth plants? Or I think it's labyrinth.
Well, you just encountered this plant, and eventually you saw that, it turns out that heat leeches are being eaten out of the plant, which accelerates their growth into Terramorphs. And they instantly transform, and whoa, that's quick. But now they just creates more xenomorphs, and turns out that someone has found a way to sneak the heat leeches into ships, turn them into Terramorphs when they come to visit to other planets, and oh no, we have to deal with the plants and everything, and that's when we had to deal with all of this stuff and come up with some information that Terramorphs are actually being turned from heat leeches.
Yeah, so I was going to say, so this is the other DSS Machina moment of the game, where we go into a room, you look out a window, and then suddenly a heat leech just crawls up to a thing, turns into a Terramorph. It's like, well, I was just good timing that I happened to be here when it turns into a Terramorph. But again, they explained that, but at the time I was like, that's awfully convenient. And then, as you were saying, they had to kill a big Terramorph at the end of the mission. That was the one that made me think I'm playing Borderlands now. That was the boss. So I was like, I'm playing Borderlands. I'm just jumping around trying to shoot this big thing, and he's a weapon sponge that just takes bullets after bullets. But it was still fun. I just thought that's the one I was actually referring to. So yeah, the revelation is that if you combine heat leeches, which are in all your ships and they're everywhere in the game, these little tiny, they're not that they're quite big actually, but they're like worms basically. If you get them and combine them with a laverance plant, which is quite rare, it turns them into these terramorph things which kill everything. And it's top secret information that no one knew, and well, at least we thought that nobody knew. Da-da-da. Which we'll get to.
Yes. But then there's something else happening there. It's just like, I wonder what's happening. And then, we try to play at the back of the evidence, and it turns out like, it turns out that V Victors is on the line, and it's been talking about like, it turns out that he's been responsible for this and trying to like get terramorphs into like New Atlantis and everything. And turns out that V Victors is pretty much the one responsible for those attacks.
I would have never guessed the evil bastard was evil. How would I have ever guessed this? Also, earlier on in the mission, you get Hadrian goes to you and says, "Who do you think could have done this?" And I go, "V Victors." He's like, "Oh, that's silly. It can't be that." And then 10 minutes later, it's like, "Oh yeah, it was V Victors." I called it 10 minutes earlier. She's like, "Oh, okay." So that was funny. Who did you say you thought it was, or did you say it was too early to tell, or like what did you say?
I think I would say it's too early to tell, but I thought like, he's in and he's alive. But then I thought there would be someone else who would be responsible for this, but nope. But anyway, we're moving to the last mission. It's very brief, and you're going to say the cabinet where you have choices. Either you just like defend Victus and say it's classified or something like that, or you just like straight up say Victus is behind all this. But there's another choice, is that you either have microbeads that's been spread out to kill the terramorphs, or you have those like dinosaur-like things like a Creo or some sort, where you can allow those animals to spread out all the systems so they can eat up terramorphs, but they're also a lot more docile. So I decided to choose the animals there because I thought, if there's any as well. Yeah, if there's any terramorphs there, I can just kill them. That's it. I mean, I'm level 208. What's there to lose?
I'm a walking tank. What difference does that terramorphs make to me? Yeah. No, I picked the animals as well. I thought that was the more sensible option. But what I don't understand is like, we have to choose one of these two options. It's like, just do both. Like, why'd you have to pick one? Just do both of them. Just like put the microbes in the air that kills terramorphs, and also have these like giant dinosaurs that eat terramorphs. Done and dusted. You got rid of them. Do both. Why are you picking? So I thought that was silly that you had to pick one. I thought you could just do both of them. Also, I thought it was a really good twist that he goes, "Do you want to know who was helping me all along? The scientist that you killed earlier." It's like, wow, fuck. I didn't kill him, though. He killed himself, to be fair. You blew him up. I didn't kill him. He killed himself for me. But yeah, it is like, oh, that's annoying. The guy that we helped get rid of is the one that helped him. I can't bring him into justice, but oh well. But yeah, I'm assuming you did the right thing and you sent J Victus down, right? Because I did as well. I assume. Yeah, because he's like, "Oh, I'll give you money." Like, I don't care. You're going to jail, bitch. Like, this is the end for you. I'm not letting you get away with this. It's ridiculous. So yeah, I told everyone the truth and just got him sent down. And then they go, "Oh, now you're official citizens of New Atlantis, like class 1 citizens. So you're like now upper class snobs, and you like can look down at all the poor people in the wells. Like, poor people. I'm amazing. I'm in class 1."
Yeah. But anyway, so so for UC Vanguard, really enjoy the story, and I think it's better than the Constellation because there's action, there's some really good rewards, and I feel this, like, if it's combined with the main story, that will make Starfield even better, so it's really good. Mm-hmm. Also, it's got lots of good loot and a lot of good rewards with it, and then I think the one detail you may have missed is that you got what's known as, like, when you become a United Colony citizen, which I think it happens during the middle of the story, once you become
become-
one, you end up getting the penthouse in New Atlantis, which you can visit. Like, oh, cool. I need to check it out.
So when I did it, I became a citizen. I unlocked the ability to buy a house in the well. I did buy the house in the well, and I pimped it out and made it look really nice. But
Ooh.
on my new run, I've decided. I thought that was another reason why I said I'm going to do it. I'm just going to stick to my Freestar Collective run instead of that one, because I don't want the well. I want to get a good. I want to actually get a good apartment this time instead of getting the shitty one down the well.
Yes.
It looked awful. Even with all the, I'd done it up. I had like a nice bed. I had art up, and I put all the boxes in there. And even then, I was like, this still looks like a shithole. So I'm going to just wait until I can get the penthouse and all of that. You unlock citizenship, which is the big reward. I like this story. I think Victus is a cool villain. It was kind of obvious that it was him behind everything. I mean, it's like the evil guy is doing evil things. Who would have guessed?
Well, it turns out that he wants to keep his legacy and feels like he kind of feels humiliated there, which is why he's just trying to organize these attacks so he can like try to rebuild his legacy.
Be the hero.
And be the hero.
He wants to be a hero, so he did a lot of already horrible things that got people killed to become a hero. Good job with that, Victus. He thinks he's really smart, but he's really a moron. Victus, decent villain. I thought the best twist was the you killed his partner, and like that. I thought that was a good. Well, you were the reason his partner died. So, because like he was covering his tracks and used you to cover his tracks, I thought that was clever. That was like the most clever twist of the whole plot. Apart from that, I thought the fact that it was Victus was kind of obvious. And as I said, I thought the choice at the end was kind of weak because like either pick aliens to eat ever aliens or you put a spore on the air that kills them. I don't understand why you just don't do both. I don't understand why you have to pick one or the other. Like, just do both. I think that'll get rid of the Terramorphs. I think that'd be like,
yeah.
I think that didn't think that made any sense. But apart from that, I enjoyed the story. I thought it was fun.
Yeah, I agree.
Very aliens and Starship Troopers and like the Thing. It was like very like space horror, which was pretty cool for a story. I think I liked it.
Anyway, moving on, because we're already like about over 40 minutes in. So,
oh, jeez, I didn't realise.
Yeah, that's why I'm just trying to like move on. But yeah. So
that's the use.
So let's go over to Freestar Rangers, which is another good quest line. And it's all set in the Cyan solar system as in Nikita. So, well, it's interesting, really, because first time you get to go to a.k.a. cities, you notice there's a heist going on, and Daniel Blake, who's a marshal, who's been trying to sort this whole ransom thing, whatever this is, and then you get into this opportunity to persuade the robbers there and convince them to do that. But then when you came in, I did this twice. I persuaded and got them to like stop doing something, and they asked for the ship, and it's like, well, there's no point. And then they just walked out and like, okay, just walked out and do this. And I thought, yeah, that's a pretty fun way to start off with. Then the next one, that's when I got the achievement, is where in Dedeputized, where you had to go into this first mission there, and you meet up with someone, which I think is actually I think it's either it's not Leon Hart, it's Emma Wilcox or something.
Right.
You go in.
So I mean,
sorry.
Okay. You skipped over the bank bit. Really, I thought that we could talk about that.
Well,
briefly.
I did mention about the bank bit.
Yeah, I know, but you didn't. I didn't get to. You said that you talked to them around. I was going to say the first time I did it, I failed the persuasion check, and I went in and killed them all. And then the second time my New Game Plus, I managed to do the persuasion. So I just thought that was worth it, saying that there is other ways around it. You just break in and kill them is another way of doing it, which isn't as I don't feel that's as rewarding, but hey, it's an option. So anyway, go ahead. You have to pick a mission from the mission board, right, to become a Freestar.
No, doesn't work like a Thieves Guild, and that's what's disappointing, because it's supposed to be a bounty hunter's quest line. Oh no, it doesn't work like that. Doesn't even work at the Thieves Guild, where you have to steal stuff and progress. Mm-hmm. because the mission board is only there if you want extra money. Because instead, you go into some detective mystery murder, whatever this is. So it begins where you fly over to the farm and realize that there's a bunch of like criminals who just tries to send threats. So you go through this path and you get constantly poisoned by bugs. Then you just went over to this camp with turrets and then figures out, oh, there's a bunch of guys there. Well, you just try to talk them through, but you just end up like fighting them. And it turns out they got a special ship that comes from Hope Tech. So it leads to the next mission. It's like, oh, there's one Hope there. And apparently it's voiced by no other than Wes Johnson, or whatever he is.
So I mean, you kind of skipped over again a little bit. So it's like, you go to a farmer's called you because they've been threatened and said their land's going to be taken off them by this group of criminals. And then you meet the criminals and you try to find out who these criminals are. And then, as you said, they have a Hope Tech ship. So, and then we meet up with the guy that wasn't Hope. His name is literally Hope something in there. I can't remember.
Well, I said this one Hope. Because apparently, when you began the mission, you went over to the ship and someone's wounded. I tried to patch her up, but it's like, oh, if you just allow me to fix the engines and sort things out, and she'll get back home. And yeah, it turns out she's being nice and gets me to One Hope. And One Hope is actually CEO of Hope Tech, one of the brands for building ships. It's like, wow, interesting. And that's pretty much the whole mission. Dodgy
shipbuilding guy who's clearly not evil and seems like a nice fellow. Oh my god, I'm getting a theme here. So we go to Hope Tech. I bought a couple of stuff. There was a couple of ships there, which I was like, ooh, I'll buy that when I get some money. I haven't got around to it yet. Well, I will. So yeah, he said no ship can be possibly stolen ever unless there was an insider involved or whatever. I was like, okay, so who's this insider? We'll find out, I guess. So we try to find out who stole the ship, how they stole the ship. And then I can't remember where that goes. Do we end up going to Neon after that, I think?
Yes.
You got to try and...
Well, basically, it's just a whole mission where you pick up information from somebody and then you have to like deal the debt, where one way is like you had to like sort out the debt, and I ended up paying off the debt, and that's the whole mission. And because I did that, Samco, who is with me, appreciates that, and it's just pretty much the Rangers way. Yeah. Or you can just like kill them, and I suppose you did it differently. Did you?
Can't remember now so well. I think I did kill him, yeah. I'm trying to persuade them. I think they're like, I want money from you. And we're like, nah. And I just shot him with a like shotgun. It's like, nah, that's fine. Bang. And I just took all the information. I was like, oh, I thought people would come after me, but no one cared. It's like, oh, Neon, no one cares if you shoot anyone in Neon, I guess.
Now,
it's just like, okay.
Let's go on the one. And I think it was the third last one, because I think there was a other one, just Surgical Strike. But another one, that's when you got a bug, right?
That was the game-breaking bloggers, the mission on the run, yeah. So on the run, I was in that mission, and I was like, it says talk to this person, and then talk to another person, then talk to another person. Now talk to the owner of the establishment, and she'll introduce you and add you to the Red Mall game. And then I get to her, and she won't talk to me. She just stood there and just ignores me. I'm like, hey, talk to me. Hello, hey. Nothing happens. I'm like, no. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to go to the UC Collective. Screw you then. And then I regretted doing that.
Yeah.
Because I'm backfired. So yeah, and then since then I've gone back and loaded the save file before that. And it worked this time, and I've done all the Freestar Collective. But yeah, that was annoying. That game-breaking bug is by there. So if she's not responding to you, don't do what I did. Load a save file before that point and try again. Do not risk it. Hopefully they'll fix this bug at some point. But yeah, it's very annoying.
This is a mission that sits in the Red Mile, which is in the same solar system as the Paradiso, and I think it's in the Proida system, whatever it is. But this is also the first time I got to the Red Mile, which I was trying to avoid, because Red Mile is actually more like a Fall Guys kind of thing, where you just go and kill aliens, activate the beacon, and then head back. But this one, it's just basically talking to the people, and I was hoping to have it easy, and then no matter what, you still have to walk the Red Mile, and like, at least
the Red Mile's easy.
Yeah, you just so like blow everything up. Even worse when you have Sam Coe with you, because, well, funny enough, like when I began doing it, I just went down the stairs, went for the lift. Oh, this is a bit scary with all this writing there. And when I opened the door, Sam Coe was just outside. Like, oh, what the?
I'm like, hi there, buddy. I did it with an Aja. But basically, when I got grav jump or grav skip forward, and I got a really powerful jetpack, I literally just flew over the Red Mile, went straight to the button, pushed the button, and then just walked back. It's super easy. It's not barely an inconvenience. It's so simple. I don't understand why they're like, everyone died. It's like, wow, you all suck. Like, this is one of the easiest challenges ever. I love the way you say Fall Guys, not like Hunger Games or like something like brutal death. No, it's like Fall Guys, and you just fall over. Just fall off the map. I love Fall Guys, by the way. Just it's like a deadly. It's like a gladiatorial kind of thing. People watch you and hope you die and bet on your life and stuff. And I asked, "Can I bet on myself?" And she's like, "No." I'm like, "Well, that sucks. I want to make a fortune. I know I'm going to survive. Let me bet on myself. Why can't I?"
Then it just leads into one of the best ship vendors in the game. Like, you got the ship vendor in the key, and I thought like you could get some stuff there, but this is definitely one of the best ship vendors because he sells some really special unique parts where you can get a wide range of shielded cargo to put on your ship, and that's what I did for my old ship in the first playthrough. New Game Plus, I built a ship probably this morning, and I put some shielded cargo from the sky. Also, he sells the multiple frequency jammers, and this is really essential. Like, if you're looking to get contraband achievement, stick one on the ship, multi-frequency jammer, and I can guarantee you it will work all the time. Otherwise, you should just save some. But this is probably much better than using any of the perks to get ahead.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it gives me a 92% chance of surviving scans and not being caught. So if I save before I enter an area like that anyway, it should be fine. And then just sell it when you get your first opportunity to sell the contraband, just sell it. But yeah, this is definitely a worthwhile investment. I was saying this, we were having this discussion yesterday, I think, me and you, and I didn't realize they sold jammers there. I only bought the cargo hold and I didn't know about the jammer, and I bought the jammer today. I'm like, ooh, this is really nice.
Well, and I want to remind you that if there's anything you could do with a guy, just remember that jam first.
Hey, jam that jam. I was going to also... Well, I'm not going to spoil it for people, but if you finish this story arc, that's the ship I've been using, is the one from the end of this story arc. That's my new ship, and I actually really like it, and I'm going to keep it. That's
good. Well, I mean, so we'll talk about that once we get through the 3 missions, because we're already heading towards an hour. So, surgical strike, go into the medical star station, and it's basically 3-star guy there, and it's just pretty much figure out a puzzle where you meet up with people and find out computers, trying to convince the guy to get into the computer. And to be honest, it just really tripped me up because it's just like, you had to pay attention to the logs there and figure out what's going on. And I was trying to like progress the mission there. And it turns out, just being chatted to some other people just to get to the VIP ring. But then turns out, there's a turret there that's trying to kill us, me and Sam Coe. And then when I came in, it's just like, oh, you had to look around this room for clues. And I'm like, what? I had to look around and see if there's an item there.
I was going to say as well, before you get into the VIP room, you speak to a guy and he's like, you go, can I get access to the VIP room? And he's like, no, VIPs only. And then I don't know if you had this option, but when I went to him, it's like, I'm a doctor, man. Let me in. I had like the doctor ability. He's like, I'm also a doctor. You gotta let me in. And he's like, oh, okay. I don't know if you had that option. I thought that was hilarious. It's like, yeah. I was like, I've never done anything to do with being a doctor, but sure, I'm going to use that as an excuse. And it worked. It's a charm. But yeah, hacking computers and so the obviously the person you're looking for has escaped. Or at least that's what it seems like. When you walk into the VIP area, the first thing you see is a dead corpse on the floor as well, with blood everywhere. So you know shit's gone down when you go in the VIP section. And it's like, damn, what's going on here?
Yes.
Yeah, this is like... you get an achievement for doing this mission, but it's probably my least favorite mission in the whole thing. It is pretty tedious. It's just like, talk to this person, talk to this person, talk to this person, talk to this person.
Also, some of it is also annoying because... like, you just really have to be really thorough and trying to figure this out. And sometimes sometimes they don't always pop up unless you do, like, be more specific of what you do. Because the computer thing has just got me, like, really tripped up. And I'm, like, trying to figure out what's going on. And even this whole session thing is just... I was like, oh, gosh, surgical strike, that's annoying. But it then leads to this penultimate mission. First to fight, first to die. And you basically kill everyone just to get this little tidbit from this guy saying, oh, this guy is responsible. Oh, you skipped over the fact that once you leave the facility, you have to go into an asteroid, like, mine shaft, and then it's like a big mine you have to go through to find the woman who escaped. And then she says, just kill me already. And then I just left her to die because she's got like a terminal illness or something. I can't remember. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, it's not that important, but it's just I thought I'd mention it just in case anyone mentioned it in the comments. And then, yes, we have the mission where you go to the mech facility and there's hundreds of enemies there. You just got to kill them all until you get to the final guy who's an old man. And it's like, I was in the war and it was great back in the war. I love guns. It's like, oh, shut up, dude. No one likes you.
I was kind of hoping there will be like Uncle Albert from like Only Fools of Horses.
Yes.
And like, you come over, kill everyone. And then when you see this guy...
I remember the war.
Well, during the war, I was like, yeah, that sort of thing.
It would have been great. So, yeah, you know, like, this is the big plot twist in the whole of this story of the Freestar Collective.
The Imperial Guard is actually the criminal here.
Yeah, so the guy who makes spaceships, the dodgy businessman who sells spaceships, is the dodgy businessman who paid these people to do dodgy stuff. The dodgy guy is dodgy. I was like, yeah, this guy's the baddie. Like, Faye Victus and him are literally the most two obvious bad guys in the history of video games. I'm like, they're blatantly obviously evil. Why would you ever think they're not evil? So yeah, Hope, what's his name? Ron Hope, or whatever his name, Ron Burgundy Hope. He's a dick. And he's like, his fertilizer sucks so bad that it turns crops into rocks. And he's like, well, I can use those rocks and materials, so I will give people this shit fertilizer and then steal their land off them. Nice plan. And I think that's a dumb plan, but okay. and then you have to confront him, and he's like trying to pay you off or try to escape, basically. I'm assuming that you tried to get him to come with you, and then he tried to kill you, because that's what happened with me.
Yeah.
What did you do differently?
Well, with One Hope, yeah, I just say, remember that he just asked me to pay money to him? Like, shut up.
No.
It's either you come with us, or just do it. And then he's just like, no, you never take me alive. Then pay with your blood. And like,
and then I killed him instantly. Like, bang, one shot, he's dead. And it's just like, you go up to this woman afterwards, and he's like, he was such a nice guy. Why did you have to kill him? What did you mean? He's an asshole. Screw you. It's like, what will we do without him? It's like, second in command will probably take over. And she's like, oh yeah, cool. Like, great. Now we got that sorted. Like, she was giving me a guilt trip for killing him, even though like it was self-defense because the guy attacked me. and he was like and he just wouldn't come in for arrest, and he wanted to pay me off. Like, I'm not going to jail. I'm too rich. I'm too rich and important to go to jail.
Well,
like, screw you.
We already did with Fee Fictus, so we can just like put him into Fee Fictus's prison there. He'll have that flat to himself.
Yeah, those two could just hang out. Those two hang out together, be like horrible people together, like both be psychopaths.
Yeah,
and then that's the main. That's it, really, isn't it? With the Freestar Collective, and then you go back to Cowboy Town, aka Akira City, and you become an official cowboy, and everyone goes
official. Yeah, official sheriff.
Yeah, and you get like a special badge. And then you get a special spaceship, which is the spaceship that I've been using.
And that's called the Star Eagle, and that's one of the best ships in the game. The only thing is that it's an A class, just like with the Race of Leave, which you get from the Mantis mission. It seems all the free ships you can get like A class. And it just seems the best places where you can get B or C class ships is just by trying to go around the system and steal it from like epileptics or spacers.
Ooh! So what I did, I got the ship, I removed the back panel of it, the back underneath the jet, replaced it with a shielded cargo, and I put the jammer on it, and I'm like, perfect, this ship is amazing. This is like the perfect ship. But now I have a legal cargo for it as well. So I got it's essentially like having a police van with a cargo for like contraband. This really contradicts itself, but I'm totally down for it. I don't care. The ship is awesome. And that is also why, like, I had two save files, one where I finished UC Collective, and one where I finished Freestar, and I decided to go with the Freestar. Yeah, having like you a lot of cool stuff for beating the UC Collective, but this ship alone is worth keeping the Vanguard, the Freestar storyline. I think just having that ship. I love the ship; it's so beautiful. I love it.
Yeah, but I think the opinion is about the Freestar Rangers, and it's the first quest line I did, but this one is not exactly special because I think, like we said here, if we did like bounty missions and we only have 4 missions that deal with the story, that would have been a much better quest line. Because I think the best part of the Freestar Range is that you get missions where you go around and destroy ships, kill people, or even better, you can like loot ships as well. But instead, it's just like these are absolutely optional, just like with terminal. I think it's terminal missions or some sort, but yeah, you just have to like go through the missions with it. And to be honest, the story is just lacking. It's just like a murder mystery, and that's it. But then at least you can still play it, so you can have a free ship.
It's a mystery where the most creepy, obvious, weird like guy is the bad guy, which was obvious from the beginning. As you said about the ship, that's the thing I would say about it. Is the quest line with the best rewards, at least so far. You get a nice gun with the dead eye for just becoming a marshal, and then you also get the really cool ship at the end. So it's like definitely worth it for me just for those two things. I like the dead eye and I like the ship. So and I like dressing up as a cowboy as well. I just walk around like, hey, Marshal, I'm the Marshal. Yeah. I'm the Marshal. Space Cowboy. Yeah.
I think I find the UC Vanguard to be better in comparison. But I think there's another quest line which is really good. But I think you have to find out next week where we discuss about the Crimson Fleet and the Ryujin Industries. But if you've been paying attention to our videos and podcasts, I think you'll pretty much get the whole idea. So until then, that's pretty much it.
This has been the spoiler cast for the UC Vanguard and the Freestar Collective. Which story did you prefer? Have you beaten either of these stories? I'm hoping you've beaten both these stories, or you've just been majorly spoiled. Which is your favorite story? Are you going to go back to either of them? Are you looking forward to our next week's Crimson Fleet versus Ryujin spoiler cast? That's gonna be a fun one. Let us know in the comments below. We really appreciate it. We're still a small channel. We're still trying to grow. So if you enjoyed this podcast, please give us a like and a share, and just tell your friends, because we are still, as I said, we're still small, and we really want to grow this channel as much as we can. So we really appreciate all the likes and all that if you can. Is there anything else you want to say before we wrap up?
That's all, and thank you for the time there. It's much longer than I thought, but which is only, but it's just barely gone past an hour or so. But I think
it's not too bad.
I think if it just, I know we kind of a bit rushed for the 3-star stuff, but I think, to be honest, it could be the weakest, but it depends on the Ryujin, which we still need to do. So do you think this is a bit of a fair opinion or some sort?
So far, it's the weakest story, I think. Yeah, I like the characters, I like the setting, and I like the awards you get, but the plot itself is a bit meh, to be honest. Oh, it's farmers getting their land taken. Like I care. Like whatever. Like whatever, dude. It's like one of them's got like an alien that can kill millions of people, and the other one's got farmers getting their land taken off them. I think I know which one's higher jeopardy.
Oh yeah, I also forgot to mention that I think during the 3-star collective that you pop over to some kind of ship, and it's just really lofty. And I think that's one of the screenshots I shared in the earlier podcast. And I'm like, oh wow, that looks cool. It's a shame that you end up like killing the guy there and just kill all the guards there as well. So I don't know which one is it.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that mission. That mission was boring. he's like, I want you to bribe me or something or whatever. Like, nah, and I just killed him and I just walked out. Pretty easy. But nah, I'm just gonna kill you now. Bye. I enjoyed that. I enjoy all the faction storylines, but I think, as you said, 3-star's probably the weakest. But I like the setting and I like the stuff you unlock. So it's not really rewarding to play it through anyway. So it's still worth doing. That's it for this week's episode of Space Skyrim. Our second spoiler cast and 3 spoiler casts, and we might even have a 4th spoiler cast depending on if we feel like it and if you guys are interested. That is pretty much it for the UC and the 3 stars. Let us know in the comments below which one you preferred and what is your favorite overall. And let us know. Thank you for watching. Is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
I will see you next time, Space Cowboys.
Take care.
And girls. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the X Marks the Box podcast. Follow us at X Marks Box on Twitter or X Marks the Box on YouTube. And follow us on all audio podcast services. Thanks for listening.